MCIEF Marketing Committee member, and I have been with TRS for 2 to 3 years now. And I have been in the insurance industry now going on 11 years and had the privilege on working on the retail side, the wholesale side, and currently I am an employee of Nationwide Insurance Company, and I have served in various capacities stemming from public auto to garage underwriting, most recently in trucking. And currently I lead an advanced analytics organization that is designed to create new solutions, data modeling to solve specific problems within the commercial auto line of business. So today I have the opportunity of interviewing Colby Waltenburg. Colby and I have been friends and coworkers, colleagues, partners for going on 4 to 5 years now. I had the privilege of knowing him in his days at Coastal Brokers. We have a similar background. Both of us started insurance through our fathers, which has been great. We got to know each other in that capacity. And currently Colby's serving as the president of Transatlantic Underwriters. And he's been in this trucking space for going on 20 years, probably been in part of MCIEF for most of his insurance career and all of mine. So I will introduce Colby and give him the opportunity to talk a little bit about himself.
Thanks, Tyler. You got a far more impressive resume than I do, I got to be honest. But I've been in trucking for over 20 years. I started with my father at Coastal Brokers. He sold and opportunities presented themselves, and I was approached by Transatlantic Underwriters to be the president and run their trucking operation, open up an office in California. We currently have an office in Marietta, Georgia. And so we're a coast-to-coast operation at this point, writing owner-operators to large fleet accounts, all lines of business, AL, FISDAM, and motor truck cargo, GL. Have multiple contracts in London, binding authority, and claims authority too, which is really nice to have at this point. So,
absolutely. Always nice to have that in-house claims handling.
For sure.
All right. So I said it, but I'll let you speak to a little bit about how you got introduced to MCIEF and how you got involved.
Yeah, so my dad and Tommy have known each other before they had gray hair. My dad used to go to all of Tommy's CIC classes and would always tell me about him. So it was kind of a foregone conclusion that I would become a member of MCIEF at some point. And it's been fantastic being part of this organization.
That's awesome. I mean, obviously with your dad having the relationship, that makes it a little bit easier, but TRS is, it's been around for quite some time now, but it's a designation, transportation risk specialist that MCIEF offers that isn't always that broadly known. So were there any hesitations or concerns you had before joining MCIEF?
Yeah, so I was concerned about how well it would be received, to be perfectly honest. There's tons of education opportunities out there. But really, when I started getting involved in it, to see how many people and how it's grown. I mean, I remember having small conferences in little rooms with 20 people in Arizona, and now it's grown to the monster that is in Florida every year. So yeah, I mean, all my concerns about that have gone away. It's definitely a needed education space for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We always had the opportunity to serve the TRS classes in Gainey Suites at Scottsdale, which is
right.
where I've met many of the MCIEF
Yep.
members, but it's been great to see it grow and see that it expand. I know that the marketing focus over the last year has really been expanding our memberships on the West Coast. Because we primarily are dominant on the East Coast. So having that Arizona, Orlando division has been great from a hosting perspective.
Definitely.
So what was the one thing you really wanted to get out of MCIEF when you joined?
So any organization that I join, I'm really interested in the networking part. That's kind of what I really find to be incredibly valuable. But the one surprising thing that I got by joining was the perspectives that you get from all the different aspects in the trucking industry. You get the truckers up there, you get retail agents, you get DOT, you get lawyers, you get insurance companies, wholesalers. Having all of that knowledge and all of that variety that is all focused on our industry in one place, dude, it's awesome. It's priceless. It's great to get all those different perspectives.
Yeah, it is. And you said lawyers, and I forget how involved they are with our organization, but I think that's a huge value add. We don't always get that perspective. I know every year I've attended some class that's been presented by some sort of attorney that kind of walks us through what we're experiencing currently in our industry from a legal perspective. But I think for me, that what I love about attending the TRS conference every year in Orlando is being, I guess what I would say, in a niche of trucking or commercial auto, or specifically for me, even excess and surplus. I've still been able to remain connected with all of my previous relationships that I've had on the retail side or the wholesale side. I've been surprised how many times I've been there where somebody's tapped me on the shoulder and they've been from a prior life of somebody that I haven't spoken to for 5 years. But I think it's that one organization within the insurance industry that is so specialized in commercial auto to bring all those people together.
Yeah. And again, that's what's attracted, I think, the growth is that, people were starving for that and really looking for that. And unless you were a CIC member, you couldn't hear Tommy talk about truckers. So, it's just been a really great expansion of what was needed for our specific niche field.
Yeah, right. So aside from the networking component, what do you think you've benefited the most from MCIEF, regardless of being able to continuously get together with all the great folks in our industry?
Yeah, I mean, really, the people that I've met. Again, you get to, I'm introduced to retail agents. I'm introduced to company people. I'm introduced to lawyers. There's also the amazing opportunity to sit in the Orlando airport for 4 days, not seeing sunlight. Traveling on, getting to an airport, traveling on a plane, getting into another airport, then getting back on a plane and going to another airport, and never seeing the sun. That's an opportunity everybody needs to take advantage of.
I will say the first year when I found out it was at the airport and that we weren't leaving, I was kind of bummed. I had been to Florida for years, but it rained the entire time we were there. So, well, this is a huge benefit at this point.
Right.
All right. So, in 2 sentences, describe Tommy.
Well, let's see. Do you know the difference between a pickle and a cucumber? And how that impacts and relates to trucking? Because I do, because Tommy can't get through a seminar without talking about pickles and cucumbers. So what I would say is, I know this is more than 2 sentences, but Tommy really is a memorable dude and has a unique way of getting information to stick with you. So with his stories, with his vernacular, it's always something that you're going to walk away remembering and having something stick with you. And that's something I'd say about Tommy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, if anybody walks away from any Tommy Ruke class that doesn't know the difference, they weren't paying attention. All right, so big topic. We talk about it often. I'm not sure when it's going to come to fruition, but talking about autonomous versus driven trucks that we insure today. In your opinion, how do you think that's going to change our industry?
That is more of a panel discussion, I think. Like, we could talk for hours about that with a ton of experts that, that have people that have expertise in the field that I just don't grasp yet. The one thing I can absolutely say is that the fringe sides are the most exciting part, right? So you've got people that say there's not going to be any truck drivers in 2 years from now, and it's all going to be autonomous and everything's going to be safe. And, that's a perspective for sure. And then you've got the other side that'll say, my PC can't go 12 hours without getting a virus or needing to be reset. So how am I going to let a truck drive? So those are kind of the 2 perspectives. I think the reality is going to probably land somewhere in the middle, but ultimately, we're going to have to adapt one way or the other to those changes. And that's what I'm kind of trying to prepare for. And that's why going to these seminars is so important, because even if not everybody's 100% correct, you're going to get something out there that's going to help you make yourself a better operation, make yourself prepared for the changes that are coming. So I'd love to say I knew the answer, but I don't think I got that one down.
Yeah, I don't either. I think about that often, from a carrier perspective. And you said it. I think that in reality, everybody's just going to adapt. Like I said, I don't know when it's going to come to fruition. I'll be curious to see what's presented. It's been a subject that's been touched on for the last few years at the conference, and I'll be curious to see what they share this year from someone much more versed in that realm of work than I am.
I mean, everything is becoming more efficient, right? Everything's becoming more efficient. Everything's becoming more streamlined. So it's obviously something is going to happen and make those efficiencies come to reality. It's just a matter of what's it going to be, and we have to be prepared for it.
Yeah, and I think, with those types of changes and becoming autonomous, just within organizations that I've worked with, automation is probably a big piece of the future. But I think the biggest part of that is just becoming, like you said, more efficient. It's not going to happen overnight. There's not going to be a huge destruction to the trucking industry, in my opinion, just like there isn't a huge destruction within my own organization. When we release something more automated, it doesn't get rid of people. It
Right.
just allows us people to do their jobs better. So
Yep.
I'll be curious to see how this comes to play within the next few years. All right, this one's a fun one. So what's the craziest claim you've ever dealt with?
Well, so actually this year I had a loss, that cargo loss, where auto hauler turned his load over. That's not really a big deal, but what was a big deal is he was hauling Lamborghini Performante, Ferrari 16M Scuderia, and a Ferrari 430 Scuderia. So those three vehicles are about $1 million in value, and they all got totaled. That was a sad day for Colby. Dude had a $5 million cargo policy, so we paid everything that we owed. The best part was that we actually we got quite a bit of salvage back. So we got close to 600,000 back in salvage, which underwriters were happy with. Funny aspect to that is I actually flew down to LA where all these vehicles were, because Copart, who was doing the salvage for us, they wouldn't wash them and clean them. They just wanted to put them up all dirty. I flew all the way down to LA, got a bucket and a rag, and I washed all three of the cars to prepare them for pictures so they could be marketed. I took a video of myself in like time lapse, and I sent it to the guys in London. I was like, hey, this is what the president of Transatlantic is willing to do to help you guys. I got a lot of kudos for that. It was pretty good. But yeah, that was an interesting loss. That was a big one.
That's certainly some superb service.
Yes, not a lot of presidents flying down washing cars, I got to be honest.
Oh, yeah, I love always dealing with that wild stuff. I had the opportunity in a prior life to write a program with Lloyd's for the National Hot Rod Association, and the coverage type we were offering was unique because it only covered these cars when they were on the drag track.
Oh,
So
wow, okay.
most companies were insuring these vehicles when they were off the track,
right.
For physical damage. However, we insure them when they were on the track, and of course, those claims were extremely severe, total loss
Right.
every time something
Right.
happened. But what we didn't touch was the liability piece, and I had a claim once where one of the trucks in a location that it appeared extremely safe, but the car went into the crowd. And that one was a tough one because there were quite a few injuries sustained, and I obviously was only handling the property piece, but it was a big one.
Yeah, jeez.
No doubt. All right, we just got just a few left. So what is one thing in truck insurance you wish you had known 5, 10 years ago even?
So I wish that I knew Tesla was going to get in the trucking industry, and I would have bought more stock in Tesla. I got to be honest. That would have been a good deal 5, 10 years ago.
Would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. If we knew then what we do now.
Oh, man.
Oh, well, I think we'll both touch on this one. I'll let you start first, but big question is as we are seeking more members and we want to broadcast the benefits of MCIEF as much as possible, what would you say to yourself prior to joining MCIEF? What to take advantage of, what to watch for, the benefits of why you should truly commit to not only the networking as you've discussed, but the opportunities and learning that MCIEF presents.
Yeah, so the networking and the learning and the education and the broadening your mind is huge. I would tell myself, hey, Colby, you're not always going to be this good looking and have this beautiful full head of hair and charm and perfect smile and great teeth. Like, I need to have something between here, right? And that's what MCIEF is really going to offer you. So get in there, get your mind exercise, learn about this industry, learn about the different aspects of it. That's what I think I would tell myself, and I probably wouldn't listen the first time, but eventually eventually I would come around and realize this is incredibly valuable information that is being disseminated at an amazing cost, right? The value add is huge.
Yeah. I know going into the first year with me, I'm thinking like, okay, you're about to fly me to another state and put me in a room with all of my competitors. And that seems a little bit awkward. But I think what I love about going to Orlando every year is that the competitor element goes out the door at that
Yeah,
point. We're just all in one big room and we have various committees, meetings, classes where you can just sit down and share your experiences and throw thoughts off each other. And it doesn't matter what company or organization is listed on your name tag. You're just
right.
all there for a common goal. And I walk away every year learning something new or thinking about something differently. And it's just been a huge value add for me. And it's great to have members such as you that are so committed to growing not only the organization, but sharing about it and using your networking capabilities to bring on new members. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm proud to be a part of the membership, and I'm looking forward to helping the organization grow for sure. And I think you really hit the nail on the head, getting in there with competitors. Like you do, even though they're competitors, you guys, we're all working to forward the betterment of our industry,
Right.
and that is key. Because if we don't do that, we're done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
working together in that capacity to betterment the industry is fantastic. There'll always be accounts out there to write. There'll always be accounts to fight over. But if we don't get certain things right, we lose markets, we lose market share, we lose entire states. And I mean, legislation that could come out. You got to be very aware of that.
Yep. Yep. Wholeheartedly. Well, hey man, thanks again. I appreciate all your time today and look forward to seeing you in Orlando, hopefully in October. Unfortunately, we'll see how COVID ramps up to see if
Right.
this goes 100% online again as it did last year, but hopefully that's not the case and we can all get down and be together in person.
Yeah, looking forward to it, man. Thanks a lot, Tyler.
Hey, no problem.